This is Chapter 7, Features. We have been using features actually all along the way. We're just going to formalize your understanding of it. And it is the smallest unit of descriptor that we use for all consonants and vowels. And you will notice in your book on page 111 and 112 that you actually have charts of features for all these sounds. I'm going to help you figure out what all the acronyms are on the side of the chart. We're going to kind of go back and review. We've been talking phonetics mostly up so far. We've been concerned with the speech sounds in general, and they are language general. They're sounds found in only one language and that may be found in another language. Now we're going to be really shifting over to phonology, which is concerned more with how speech sounds are organized in languages, and it tends to be language specific. So what we do in English is probably very different than what they do in French. Although some of the same processes can happen across languages. Phonology is interested mostly on classification or characterization of natural classes, distinguishing contrastive segments in the world's languages. For example, phonemes versus allophones. How are they used and how are they produced in this language? Expressing the phonological structure of a language as general as possible. Phonological rules are cross-linguistic. And we also use phonological rules when we are talking about disordered speech. A very common error for children that are developing speech is producing all their back sounds in the front. So instead of producing a k and a g, they produce some t and d. So it's Todd instead of dog. So those might be different sounds, how they're produced. And we use the phonology or the features to describe those errors. What are natural classes? We've already used them to describe sounds, like vowels versus consonants, obstruents versus sonorants, the manner of articulation, stops, nasals, approximants, and place of articulation, labials, alveolars, velars, etc. Groups of segments that share phonetic similarities, that's the natural classes. That means they share different features. And that's what we're going to talk about. Why do we need natural classes? They help us to make generalizations about the phenomena that relate to phoneme production. For example, aspiration, devoicing of approximants, voicing of a word and sentence, like in final obstruents, or which consonant can occur between s and in consonant clusters and onset. Are there any sounds that can do that? Like t, str is something that we allow in our language, but it might not happen in other languages. Some examples of natural classes are approximants, alveolars, or sibilants, which are s, z, sh, zh, ch, zh, j. So those are the sibilants. So what are distinctive features? They're segments that can be decomposed into a number of components, and features reflect this. So like I said, it's the smallest unit that we're going to be using. It's expressed in a binary system. Either they have it or they don't have it. So plus means the presence of a feature. Like plus voicing is your voice is turned on in a d versus a t. Minus means the absence of the feature, like minus nasal as in a p. You want to see your tables in 7.1 and 7.2. Do you have to memorize these? No, you don't. You're going to have access to them. I will allow you to look in your book and give you extra time to use the chart during the test for the final. And you're just going to need to know how to use it. The more familiar you are with the patterns, the quicker it is to use the chart. Why do we need features? Phonological features distinguish one phoneme from another. Features can distinguish one segment from another by one component, as in voicing, tongue height. They're used as the smallest unit of phonological analysis. Features allow us to describe the rules that phonemes undergo, like allophonic variations, or vowel nasalization when a vowel is next to a nasal. There are three areas of distinctive features: major class features, consonant features, and vowel features. Consonantal, syllabic, and sonorant features are what we're going to talk about first. The abbreviations are on the notes: consonantal, syllabic, and sonorant. And we don't use obstruent because either it's sonorant plus minus is an obstruent. So consonantal, sounds with or without oral constricture. Distinguish true consonants from vowels and glides, which are the semivowels. Besides the vowels, which sounds are minus consonantal? Y and W. Neither of those are consonants because there's no constriction in the airflow. So vowels and glides are minus, and all other sounds are plus. Syllabic. Think about what sounds are part of the nucleus of a syllable. It distinguishes that from other sounds. So those are our vowels and our semivowels. So all vowels, syllabic, nasals, and liquids are plus syllabic, while other sounds are minus. The next one is sonorant, which means they distinguishes vowels, approximants, and nasals from other sounds, like stops, affricates, and fricatives. Relates actually to the sonority hierarchy that we looked at in Chapter 6. So vowels, nasals, and approximants are plus SON, all others are minus. This is actually a chart that you can print out and fill out for yourself. So what are they? Vowels? Are they syllabic? Yes. Are they consonantal? No. Are they sonorant? Yes. So you can go through and fill this out on your own. We're going to talk about consonant features next. They're used to describe consonants, and we've been using these in your homework, in your reading for quite a while. Voicing, place, and manner are the ways that we distinguish the features for consonants. Voicing, it's on or off. That's pretty easy. The next one is place features. They're used to describe where the sound is being produced. Is it coronal or anterior? So the first we're going to talk about coronal. It's the sounds that are produced with the front of the tongue, the tip or blade of the tongue may be raised. Relates to the active articulator. So interdentals, alveolars, postalveolars, and palatals are plus coronal. All other sounds are minus coronal. If you notice, it has to be the front of the tongue. So bilabials are non-coronal and velars are non-coronal. Then you have anterior. Anterior means front. Posterior means back. So anterior is the front of the mouth, and it relates also to the active articulator. Labials, dentals, and alveolars are plus anterior. Postalveolars, palatals, velars, and glottals are minus anterior. So if you want to take some time and practice this, you can think labials. Are they plus or minus coronal or anterior? Dentals and alveolars. They're plus coronal and they're plus anterior. So you can go through and fill out that chart.